Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to another webinar session with Secure Intelligence Limited. I'm your host for today. My name is Chine and I want to welcome you guys again. It's good to have you here again in this session. And today we are going to be looking at an amazing topic, migrating Oracle workloads to the AWS Cloud. So before we continue, I'd like to confirm that you can hear me. So if you can hear me, just look below your screen, you see an emoji icon. So click on it and give me some reaction, a thumbs up, smiley face. You can laugh because this webinar is going to be exciting. So let me get some reaction. Yes, thank you. All right, so welcome again to today's webinar session. I'm really excited to have you guys here. Okay, so before we continue, let's walk us through the housekeeping rules that we have here at Secure Intelligence Limited. First, I want everyone to remember and understand that this session is being recorded and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So in case you're going to miss out on any of this session because of network, don't worry, we have you covered. Okay, so there's going to be a replay on our YouTube channel. And also would like you to understand that you can react, you can raise your hands, you can also clap because you can make reactions during the course of the webinar. Okay, still with that same button below your screen. And lastly, we welcome all questions. And you can ask your question even during the course of the webinar. You don't have to wait till the end of the webinar to ask your questions. So make use of the Q&A comment session. Still below your screen, you will see a question mark icon. If you click it, it will take you to a space where you can drop your questions in the Q&A comment session. And now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I want to say a very big welcome and thank you for joining. We are CIL teams and we love to see ourselves as solution builders. We apply technology to drive effectiveness, agility, and growth for your business. So we are strategically positioned to help enterprises scale globally. The summary of what I'm trying to say is that we are excited that you're here and we are passionate about the growth of your business. So we work with 4 major pillars. All right, that's the global mindset, multi-cloud competence, agility, and most importantly, growth, because that's one of the important factors of every business. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to be inviting the presenter for today. She's a specialized workloads engineer. She's going to be taking us into the topic proper and the agenda for today. So I would encourage everyone, sit back, relax, and get ready to learn because there's a lot to learn from her. She, like I said, she's a specialized workloads engineer and she's not the person than Oyedamola Abdulatif. So Oyedamola, you're welcome to today's webinar session and we're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you very much, Naye, for the introduction. Welcome everyone. My name is Oyedamola Abdulatif and today we're going to be discussing the journey of migrating Oracle workloads to AWS. We're going to explore why companies choose AWS for their Oracle workloads. We're going to explore the challenges that companies face with on-premises environments, migration strategies to consider, and we're going to look at some case studies. So the first question that should be on everyone's mind is why AWS, and if it is not the first question, then it should be. So what is AWS? AWS is a cloud platform that offers secure, scalable, and cost-effective services like computing, storage, and databases. So AWS is the foundation behind some of the services that we use every day. Think about Netflix, think about Airbnb, think about Lyft. So when millions of users stream movies or book accommodations, it is AWS infrastructure that handles traffic spikes without any downtime. I know Netflix to have over 230 million subscribers, yet I have never since I have known Netflix, I have never known them to have any downtime because AWS allows Netflix to scale up or down. And what do I mean by that? So, like some months ago, when Bridgerton came out, um, Bridgerton should be familiar to everyone here. It's a TV show that is it's a fan favorite and it's very popular. So, as Bridgerton came out, it means that so many users of Netflix would use Netflix to stream Bridgerton, right? Because almost everybody likes it actually. So because of the new season of Bridgerton, it means that Netflix would have to welcome more users than the normal like range of users that use Netflix from day to day. So and I watched Bridgerton and I'm sure that so many of you also watched it. I did not experience any downtime or I didn't experience any latency when I was trying to stream the film. And that is because Netflix uses AWS, right? They use AWS infrastructure. So when the users that are using Netflix, when they increase more than the usual, Netflix scales up to accommodate the users. And when after Britain's hype goes down and Netflix is now back to receiving the normal amount of users that they received daily, then then AWS needs to scale down, right? So except from scalability. So another reason why people use AWS is because AWS operates in over 30 regions and over 100 availability zones. And that makes it for global accessibility by applications or by users. So AWS uses a pricing model that is called pay-as-you-go pricing model. And so that means that you only pay for the resources that you use. You don't pay for what you are not using. So when you are done with a particular service, you can as well terminate the service and you're no longer getting billed for that service that you just terminated, unlike the legal systems, right? So AWS also supports it also has advanced tools like encryption, like IAM, and we're still going to get to find out what these things are in a moment. So now let's talk about why so many Oracle customers are moving their workloads to AWS. So it is not just because the cloud is trendy, right? So there are so many problems that customers or companies face on premises for them to think about moving or migrating to the cloud. So imagine where when you have an old car and you need to maintain this old car because today you probably have some kind of issue with the car. It might not start well. It might drive for some minutes and stop in the middle of the road. We need to change the engine and these things will keep happening because they are old cars, right? So that is how it is when you're using on-premises systems because on-premises systems make use of old systems and hardwares that, that are like outdated and can be very, very expensive to maintain and to manage. Another challenge or another reason why companies move from on-premises Oracle to the AWS is because every other year, like in 3 years or 5 years or something, they'll need to um companies will need to keep buying new updated hardware And we don't have this problem with AWS because if there's an update on any service in AWS, you just update the service and you continue using what you are using. Continue your business. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to respond. But with on-premises or legacy systems, right? You have to get new systems. So, and it is a never-ending cycle because you probably because there's something that is called end of life and end of support, and that means that after some years, these manufacturers will stop supporting some of these systems or servers. So you need to get a new one because you want an updated server. You want something. You want the hardware that you can patch. With the newest security update. You don't want your system to be open to risk and from hackers and the likes, right? So another challenge with on-premises is that when you need, like, take for instance the Netflix example that I gave. When you have more customers using your applications, it cannot scale up or down. It's still going to remain. It is the capacity that you got or that you bought that you're still going to have. So you cannot have. So yeah, is that going to be underutilizing your capacity? That you're going to need more. And so it is a lose-lose situation because you're either losing money by losing customers because you cannot cater to your customers' needs, right? Or you are losing money because you have a large capacity and it is just a small amount that is being used. So another problem with another reason why customers migrate from Oracle to AWS is because of automated operations. So with on-premises systems, you have to manually patch your systems. You have to update your software. You have to back up your servers. You have to monitor these things. So these things can be time consuming, and because you are going to pay people to do it, it's going to cost money too. And also because you are paying humans to do it, probably be errors because we are humans, we are not perfect. So we are most likely going to cause some kind of errors. So managing that, we understand the challenges that companies face with their on-premises systems. So the next question that's probably in our head is migration strategies. So what are migration strategies? They are approaches that you use when you want to migrate your workloads. So they are called the 6 R's. We have number 1 on the list, rehost. So rehost is also lift and shift, right? So let me paint a picture of where I get a new job and I live in Lagos. So if I get a new job in Ibadan, I would probably, if I decide that I want to be commuting from Lagos to Ibadan every single day, it's going to cost me a lot of money because I'm going to pay transport fare, or if I even have a car, I have to fuel my car. It's going to cost me to get to my workplace very late. And if I try to get to my workplace earlier, so it would mean that I'll be waking up very, very early in the meeting. And that is going to cause me to be stressed and I'll have to go to the hospital or something. So that is where lift and shift comes in. So if I love my Lagos apartments so much and I decide that I want to have the same thing in Ibadan, I can just lift my apartment and place it on a land in Ibadan. So it is still going to, I'm still going to have the same environment, right? So the only thing that's going to change is the environment. So, but I'm still going to have the same apartment. So that means I'm still going to be paying the same amount of money. So that means that, I'm not even optimizing, or I'm not taking advantage of Ibadan as a city, because in terms of costs, Lagos is more expensive than Ibadan. So if I want to get an apartment, I need to get it cheaper. So that is pre-hosting or lift and shift. So it is when you move your applications to AWS without making any changes to any underlying infrastructure. So it is very, very quick, and it is the easiest and the simplest way of migrating to AWS. So we also have another strategy, which is called the platform. So your platform is, now you've moved to your city, and you decide that you want to rearrange all of the things that you have in your apartments to better optimize your space. So you're just doing most of these things, like you're just trying to optimize your space. You're not actually making changes to the underlying infrastructure here. So the platforming is just like small optimization that you do to your applications when you migrate to AWS. So they are not like actually taking advantage of AWS, but you can use you can optimize your workload. So another example is, another migration strategy is repurchase. So repurchase is when you replace your existing applications now with a new solution. It's like software as a service now. So it is like when you move from an on-premises Oracle database to an Oracle Cloud application or something. So another strategy is called refactor. So refactor is like when you start to actually take advantage of the cloud. This is when you knock down your old apartment, you start adding rooms, transforming your space basically. So refactoring is when you redesign your application to take full advantage of AWS Cloud features. So it is more complex than the rest, but it gives you more benefits in terms of performance, scalability, or cost efficiency. So another strategy is retire. So retire is when you realize that you don't need certain hardware or certain systems, and you retire them. You know that it is not going to actually add anything to your business. So losing it is not going to be critical to your business. So in this case, you can just retire while you migrate. So the last one is retain. So when you are migrating, you can decide to retain some of your systems and leave them on premises, because there is no need to actually migrate them, or it's just too much to migrate at the moment and you're not ready for that. So you might decide to, keep certain, like maybe Oracle databases on premises for the time being. Okay, so now let's look at the benefits of migrating Oracle workloads to AWS. I mean, already at this point, we probably can come up with some advantages or some benefits from all of the things that I have said. Look at cost savings. Okay, so one of the benefits of moving your Oracle workloads to AWS is cost savings. So running Oracle databases can be expensive on premises, because you have to get a large amount of money to buy your hardware, your networking, your storage, and even on top of that, you probably be paying for some resources that you are not even utilizing. right? And you have to pay for you have to pay IT administrators to monitor your workloads. You have to pay for a space to put your systems, your hardware, and all of that. But AWS helps you to cancel capital expenses. Those are called capital expenses, right? You can now focus on operational expenses with pay-as-you-go modeling. So with pay-as-you-go modeling, you just pay for the resources that you use. You have no business with things that you're not using. Unlike on premises, even the things that you're using and you're not using, as long as you've gotten it, you've paid for them, it's going to cost you money, right? So there are some AWS services that help with that helps us to save costs. We have EC2. So when you want to like launch an EC2 instance, for instance, you have varieties of instance types to choose from. So you can choose instance type depending on your workload. What do you want to do with this server? You can also look at the costs. You can select the one that you feel like is more cost effective for you. We also have, and even down the line, even when you select the ones that, like you select a larger capacity, you can always downsize them, right? So we also have some AWS pricing models called reserved instances and spot instances. They allow us to optimize costs based on your workload patterns. We also have another service that is called RDS for Oracle. So RDS is a fully managed service. It takes care of database administration, patching, backup, scaling, and the likes. So that allows you to direct the money that you would have used, that you would have paid an IT administrator for maintaining your database and the likes. You can direct that amount of money to other aspects of your business. And you can also direct the time now. Even though we're talking about money, yes, you can also direct the time like that you're using to maintain all of these things. You can direct it into even creating more innovative ideas. Another service is the trusted administrator. So what it does is it monitors the environment and it helps you to identify areas where you can save costs. So now tells you like when you have opportunities, you can right size this instance, because it is too large for what you need. It can tell you you're underutilizing your resources and it recommends, so that way you know that you should right size your resources. So we also have performance efficiency. So Oracle workloads usually demands high performance. It demands high performance for critical applications. It provides infrastructure and tools to improve performance efficiency. We have services like AWS auto-scaling. Right. So auto-scaling is used to automatically add or remove services depending on what we need, right? So that we don't overload a particular instance. AWS auto-scaling adds more instances so that the work can be divided and we don't overload one. So we also have elastic load balancer. So elastic load balancer is like, when you go to buy something in the grocery store and you've picked up all of the things that you need. Now it's time to pay. You have like 5 checks where you can pay for your stuff. So it would be weird to go to queue in an already long queue. So it'd be better if we can just check for checks where we have like lesser people and we can then stay there. So that is like elastic load balancer. It distributes traffic to targets, and targets can be EC2 instances or containers. Next we have flexibility and scalability. So on premises, we can only guess capacity. It is, I think it takes a magician to actually guess capacity right, because you'd never know the amount of users that you'll be catering for in the future. I can decide to buy hardware now. I can decide to buy on-premises systems, knowing that I have 150 users, people that are using my application. So I get the capacity that is going to be needed for them. Or I can even maybe go a little bit beyond and get like 200, something that can cater to 200 users. But what then happens when I become more popular in the future, the application becomes more popular, and now, we need more, and now like we need a larger capacity. So we have to get more, right? So with AWS, and I would say that that is one of the, maybe the biggest benefits, the number one benefit of moving to AWS is that you don't have to guess capacity again, right? You can always right size, you can always increase the size, you can always add more instances to your workload to help you. So another benefit is security. So security is a top concern when you are managing Oracle workloads, because AWS offers like security frameworks like encryption, identity and access management, network security, and the likes. So IAM, which is the identity and access management, allows you to control access to AWS resources and services. Because for you to know how particular AWS is about security, AWS service can talk to the other without permissions. So if EC2 wants to talk to S3, EC2 is going to need permissions from IAM. You have to talk to S3. If as a junior engineer, I don't have access to certain things, right? Because my knowledge is limited. So permissions will be created especially for junior engineers and attached to the users, so that they don't overstep, so they don't go to unknown places like boundaries, and they don't cause some kind of security issues. So we also have so with RDS too. So RDS includes built-in security features like encryption at rest, encryption in transit, and it even integrates with KMS to manage encryption keys. We also have CloudTrail. So CloudTrail provides visibility into user activities by recording API calls, right? So CloudTrail has been helpful to me in my work. So at Secure Intelligence, we had a customer, right? We have a customer, and so we would notice that, not regularly, but just frequently, their server will get we go down, and we did not understand why, because we had done everything we're supposed to do from our own points, right? From our own standpoint. We got into CloudTrail, and we used CloudTrail because we wanted to investigate what the problem could be. And we noticed that every time a particular account tried to connect to an EC2 instance, it would always cause the EC2 instance to be down. So we had to put in some security measures after that point. But if not for CloudTrail, wouldn't have known that. So CloudTrail is used to record API calls. We also have guard duty. So guard duty uses threat intelligence, machine learning to detect threats, right? So it detects threats, and you can go on guard duty and check to see if what you need to do from there on with the threats that's detected. So we have some AWS services for Oracle workloads. We have RDS for Oracle. So RDS stands for Relational Database Service. RDS is a fully managed database service that simplifies the deployment of databases and scaling and patching. It takes care of all of those things, and that is why it is a fully managed database service. So with on-premises environments, database management are like manual. So you have to patch your servers, you have to back them up, and backing up servers takes a lot of time. Sometimes it even results in you losing your data. Restoring backups takes a lot of time. But with RDS, right, backups and patching are automated. So there's also a feature in RDS that is called the multi-AZ deployment. So what multi-AZ deployment does is that when you are creating your database, you're creating it in multiple availability zones. So in case of a failover, so it says that if there's now a failure with one of the instances, it can then the standby instance become the main one, and the standby one is created just like that. So it supports multi-AZ failover. Also with RDS also supports encryption at rest and in transit. At rest and in transit using CIL SSL. So we also have EC2. So EC2 instance can be used to run Oracle databases. And this is for when you want more control over your workload. Because RDS is managed, so you have less control over it. But with EC2, you have more control over it, and you can also and with EC2 you can also automate patches using AWS System Manager. You can automate backups using AWS Backup, and it also uses different pricing models like on demand, reserved instance, spot instances to reduce costs. So now we have AWS Backup. So AWS Backup is a backup service in AWS. It allows you to automate and manage backups, right? So it allows you to manage backups of including RDS, EC2, S3, and the likes. So AWS Backup can be used to schedule backups. So do you want your backups as frequent as daily? Like, do you want it daily? Do you want to back up your workloads daily or weekly or monthly? And you can also get all of your resources, all of the backup resources or recovery points in your AWS backup console. And AWS recently, added a new feature, which is called the restore testing. So this is for when, yes, you've backed up your AWS backup, right? You backed up your resources, and now you want to check if you can restore these resources. You can do that manually, of course, but the easiest way to do it is you can just create a restore testing plan according to how you want it. If you want it weekly or monthly, then the backups, like they can be restored, and you can also keep them for a number of time, for some duration. So if you want to keep them for 24 hours or 2 weeks, you can keep them there just in case if you need it in the future. Okay, so next we have best practices for migrating Oracle workloads to AWS. So before migrating to AWS, it's very important that you scan or you evaluate your current workload, right? Because you have to know the things that are depending on certain things, it's best to know to have insights, because it helps you to pick strategy, migration strategy, so that you can know the things that you want to migrate, how you want to migrate them. You can check your workload to know applications that are ready for migration. You can also check, see, analyze the size of your workloads. You can also use, so there's something called total cost of ownership analysis, where you're like trying to know the total cost. You're trying to, when you analyze the total cost of everything on premises, and then you can also use pricing calculator to check what that would cost you with AWS, so that you can then compare the two, and the best, so you can choose the best solution for your workload. Right. So there's monitoring. So monitoring is so there are some AWS services that can be used to monitor workloads. We have CloudWatch, right? So CloudWatch can be used to monitor database performance, can be used to check the health of our database, of our workload. You can set up alarms to notify you and your team when some thresholds have been exceeded. You can use AWS config to monitor and track changes in your AWS environment, right? So you can use AWS check config to check your configurations, to check if they are compliant. So optimizing licensing, that is when so with AWS there's something called bring your own license. So what it means is that you no longer have to pay for the license that you already have. So you can just bring your license when you're creating an RDS database. You see there's an option of you using your former license from on premises, or you getting a license as you're creating your database on AWS. So security is a very, very huge concern of AWS. So AWS has so many services for security, right? I already mentioned IAM. I mentioned guard duty, right? So guard duty monitors malicious activities, and it's detects threats too. And IAM is used to enforce least privileged access by managing the people that can access and perform specific actions on Oracle databases. We also have KMS to manage encryption keys too. And we have KMS manage encryption keys, and the data is managed, or data is encrypted at rest with KMS and in transit in transport layer security. Next, we are going to read some of the case studies of some companies that have been able to migrate their workload from Oracle to AWS successfully. So we have a company here that is called PayEasy. So PayEasy had some databases that were aging, right, and they needed to be replaced almost immediately, and they were going to cost, and it was going to cost $810,000, right, which is a lot. And they will say have to maintain it 2 hours in a day, bi-weekly, and they say have to monitor it and check the hardware and all of that. But they decided to go with RDS for Oracle because, as we all know, it is a managed service. So it takes care of it automates tasks like patching, like backups, and the likes. So that way by migrating to AWS, you're able to save capital expense of $810,000, and they were even able to reduce their operational expense by 15%. Next, we have EDF UK. So EDF UK is a UK electricity provider, and they were also suffering from aged databases. And if you remember, I mentioned that one of the reasons why customers migrate from Oracle workloads to AWS is because they need to purchase new hardwares like frequently, like as much as three years or 5 years. So EDF UK and KEZ also experience those problems, and that is why they decided to migrate their workload to AWS. And by migrating their workload to AWS, EDFS used database migration service, and they were able to have a scalable and high performing, cost effective solution after migrating to AWS too. Thank you very much for listening and giving me listening ears. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, Damola. Thank you. All right, so let's show some reactions to that beautiful presentation. Thank you very much, Damola. That was awesome. Okay, so let's drop our questions. If there are more questions, yeah, thank you for the reaction. All right, if there are more questions for Damola, let's drop them. So Damola, there's a question here for you. The first question says, what are the biggest challenges when moving Oracle workloads to AWS, and how can we solve them?
Okay.
Did you get that? Okay.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Okay, so one of the biggest challenges is downtime. So migration downtime can disrupt business operations, and so the best way to solve that is by using database migration service or AWS DMS. So AWS DMS supports Oracle to AWS migrations, and they allow minimal downtime. So it's not promising zero downtime, but it's minimal downtime, and it's continuously by continuously replicating data between source and target databases. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So I believe that has been clearly explained. So there's still one more here again for you. It says, how does AWS keep Oracle workloads secure and compliant with regulations?
Okay. Thank you. So there are so many ways it can do that. One, we have encryption. So like I said, AWS it has a feature that's called encryption, where your data can be encrypted at rest and in transit. You also have VPC. So we can use, when we create our Oracle databases in VPC networks, we also have services like security group to control traffic going into our workload and out of the workload. So we also have AWS services like IAM that enforces these privileges, so that people that don't know what to do with the environment don't get to disrupt any of the work, and by giving access to just the people that need access to the services, and to just the services that you need, and just what you need to do with these services, not by giving certain people maybe administrator access where they can have access to do anything that they want to do with the resources. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. All right. In the absence of further questions, I would like to wrap up this webinar. So thank you so much, Damola, for the presentation, for the answers to the questions, and I'm going to be dropping a link on the Q&A session. So this link is for a free consultation. So we're giving every attendee access to this link to book a free consultation with our cloud experts. So if you have questions regarding migrating Oracle workloads to the AWS Cloud, or you have any question whatsoever in the course of your migration journey, okay, we're here to help you, and we are solution builders. And since we're concerned about the growth of your business, whatever stage or journey that you're in your migration process, we will gladly help. So if there are questions you need to ask, if you still want to have, you want to continue this conversation with Damola or any other of our cloud experts, please click on the link in the Q&A session and book a consultation with us. Also, you get access to a free AWS digital training exclusively for you that is watching me right now. Okay, and if you're looking to just upskill your tech skills, okay, you can also go through our programs at CIL Academy. We have different programs for you. We have AWS trainings for you. We also have a program designed to help people who have no knowledge in tech whatsoever to go from being what we call zero to becoming great techies. All right, so you have the opportunity to move from beginner level to becoming a professional in tech. Things like cloud engineering, front-end engineering, and data engineering. So this is just a package for people who have no idea or no background skill in tech. All right, so whatever you want to learn, whatever you want to understand, secure intelligence is the whole package for you. All right, so do not hesitate to click on the link. You want to also make inquiries concerning any of these digital trainings that we offer. You can also use the link in the income message. All right, so one of the most important things you need to do after watching this webinar, or even watching this webinar, you need to go on our YouTube channel, click on that channel at Secure Intelligence Limited, and also click on the notification icon. You would get prompts when we have new webinars that have been uploaded, okay, on our social media channel, and you would watch them. So there are lots of resources that you need, whether you're migrating, whatever, even as an individual or a business person, okay, SMBs, or even as an enterprise, we have resources on that channel that could save you a lot of headache. Trust me. All right. You can also connect with us on Instagram at CIL_teams, LinkedIn, Secure Intelligence, Facebook, CIL Teams, and on Twitter, CIL_teams. There is a lot waiting for you. And sometimes we do give away, all right, in case you're wondering. So you don't miss out on any of our offers. So I would like to bring this webinar to a close, and I'm so excited to have everyone here today. And thank you for joining. Thank you for staying till the end. See you some other time. Have a lovely day.